Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have a very interesting review impressions of a knife that I received in part of our YouTube pass around. I'm really excited to check out. This is a Kansept knife called a Tuckamore. This particular knife is a Jonathan Styles design, and it's made by Kansept Knives. So very cool, Kansept manufactured knife, and it's a Jonathan Styles design, which is really neat. And so called the Tuckamore. And this particular one has I believe this is the copper carbon fiber insert. So carbon fiber kind of mesh together. You can see that beautiful reflection will look really great in the sun, I think. So really, really cool little knife. It's titanium handles, and they are contoured, which is really nice. And it has a deep pocket carry clip, as you can see that. It has some nice flexibility, so it should go in and out of the pocket really well. No sharp edges around there. This is nice and rounded all the way around. I like the inlay here, and it is look like this is really a kind of a bolster subframe lock, because even though this goes all the way around, it's not technically bolstered. It technically closes all the way in. So is it a liner? But it's almost like a liner. It's almost like a subframe liner lock sort of a thingamabob, right? It's got a steel bar insert, yeah, really cool. So let me go ahead and deploy this. This is going to deploy with the fuller. It doesn't have a flipper. It's a single deployment method. Oop, let me get in there. Sorry, I cut my finger working on another knife. Yeah, it's steel bar insert. I don't see it over travel stop. Maybe it does have it. I don't know, but I don't know if you would need it on here, but it does seem to have the steel bar insert, which engages on the blade of the tang about good, I want to say 50%. Got a beautiful satin finish on here. And the blade steel on this one is CPM 20 CV. You can see that CPM 20 CV is the blade steel. Little Kansept logo here. And then over here you have this, the Jonathan Styles logo. I guess that's, which way does it go? Is it J or Styles logo? I don't know. Don't know how that exactly, but that's his logo apparently, his trademark kind of thing. I like it. It looks like a brass. Maybe it's copper. Pivot collar right there. That's a nice little touch. Now the only thing is these are all T6 screws, just so you know. I do like the inlay there. That's really nice. That does some nice weight relief. Beautiful flat grind. It's got a nice swedge, so definitely allow you to navigate your cuts if you're going through something heavy. That's nice. I like the finish on there. That's really well. Pretty heavy, robust tip, so it's going to be pretty strong. It does go to a nice tip, pokey tip, so you can get into your fertilizer, mulch, your dog food, cat food, cases of water, your Amazon boxes, gift boxes, letters, envelopes, what have you. It's not super thin, so it's not a super slicey, but it comes to a nice thin edge. It does have a nice little edge there. The tip is going to be great for those penetrating cuts that you need to get into your packages for sure. So that's nice. It does have a nice cutaway relief here on the lock bar, so you have good access on the frame itself, so that's good, and with a little chamfering, so that's easy to get to. So that's sort of the materials that we're talking about a little there. As far as opening and closing, it is going to be the thumb hole. And there's a slight fuller on there as well, so I guess you could theoretically get your finger right on that part as well, which would be semi-fuller thumb hole, so that works as well. And it does work on the other way around pretty nicely. And because this is kind of like a subframe lock, it's very easy to do left-handed, and it's very easy to reverse flick left-handed, so it's going to be great. Now, unfortunately, it's a right-hand only tip-up clip only. It's not lefty. You can't switch the clip, so sorry for the lefties. But if you're okay as a lefty, carrying it right-handed or in your back pocket, maybe your left back pocket, into there, this would work pretty nicely. I think it's really great for that left-handed action. So great usability as far as the reverse flick there. So I like that. Now it does have nice jimping on the spine of the blade up here, and it's kind of sharp, but it's not super sharp, right? You can choke up here pretty well. Now I have large hands, width-wise, medium for finger length. So, but for my large hands, I've got plenty of room. So extra large, double extra large hands should fit really well. I think that's nice. It is got some like little cutaway chamfering here, so that's comfortable, and it's no sharp corners up there. All that makes it pretty comfortable. Now this is not chamfered as much as I would like, but they're not edgy. It's not like on the blade here where it's kind of sharp. You can, Ferris rod, you could probably spark open, but this is gonna, it's not as soft as maybe I would care for it to be. I mean, as far as a very discreet, thin EDC, it'll work really nicely. It's pretty light. And the action's pretty nice. I think it's Kate ceramic ball bearings for sure. That action is just really phenomenal as far as that's concerned. So I do like that. That's really cool. Very, very cool. So the knife is going to be in about the $190 range. I believe it's $189 or something like that. I think at White Mountain Knives, that's what they were selling it at, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see real quick here. I'm just going to confirm. Yeah, $188.89 is what the price they were listing it at. So, you know, and if you find it at White Mountain Knives, you know, use RNK10, get 10% off. You know, definitely do that for sure. Or use one of my affiliate links if you find it somewhere else and you really want it. You know, I would help the channel, and I would be greatly appreciative of that. So thank you. All right, so that is what's going on there. Pretty nice little knife. I do like that a lot. The materials, we talked about the opening closing. It's pretty good. Drop action is pretty nice. All that works pretty well. All right, so let's see. Is it in? Yeah. Is it locked in place? It's got a little blade rock, but that's probably because the pivot's a little loose. And it's not a captive pivot, so you have 2 screws. You just keep that in mind. You might need a second screwdriver. Always use good quality tools. This is a wee bit. Now, this is one of the pass-arounds, so I'm not going to modify it, but I will tighten it because I don't want the knife to get damaged. I don't want it to slip and then start scratching the blade or do anything like that for the next person. So I will tighten it just a slight bit just to keep it from rocking. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's better. All right, no rock there now. Now we're in good place. Typically, if this was my knife, I would put a little Loctite on there, a little Loctite 242. And that's what I use right here a lot on knives. But it's not my knife. It's a prototype, or it's a pass-around knife. So I'm going to leave it as is for everyone to experience. And I'll just do that. Oops, sorry, I got something on the screen there. Get that out of the way. I will, you know, a little tightening, and it's just fine. The action's still really wonderfully, still smooth, very controlled like that. See a very slight shake drop. Now I would put like a little bit of, you know, oil in there, and it's beautifully centered, by the way, just really nicely. So that's great. But that's always nice. Let's hear the detent. Nice clicky detent. Any detent lash? No. Any pivot lash? No, it's in there really well. So that's always nice. All right, so that's a little bit about the knife, the Loctite, and all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and do some measurements real quick. All right, so we got the ounces. All right, so this is 3.7 ounces. 3.7 ounces, not bad at all. You know, to me, that seems very reasonable. Let's look at the overall length. It's not a super small knife, for sure, because we're looking at a knife that's just over 8 inches. It's going to say it's 8 1/16 of an inch. And the overall handle from the very tip, if you choke up, you've got about just exactly 4 inches of handle length. So that's why I felt like, you know, you could do that. You could theoretically choke up just a little bit more, get almost 4.5 inches, because that finger and choil right there would allow you to hold it like that, I guess, theoretically. You just got to be careful, don't slip and get cut. But you could, and you see all that extra room. So that's always nice. All right, let's look at the overall blade length. Now, going from the very tip to where the back of it, we're looking at about 3.5 inches from the tip to right there, 3.5 inches. Now, overall cutting length, we are looking at about, I want to say 3 3/8 of an inch. 3 3/8 of an inch is definitely less than 3.5. Definitely over your 3-inch rule. So if you've got a law for that, just keep that in mind as far as your law for blade lengths. You know your local and state knife laws. All right, so let's measure the blade stock thickness on this one. So it's 122 thousandths of an inch. So we're looking at 0.122 inches. Not bad, relatively normal kind of thinness. Like I said, it's not super thin, super slicey, but it does come to a pretty thin edge. I like the grind. It's that beautiful satin kind of finish. It's going to look really nice and cut really well through most materials. So there you go. All right. Budget what knife category? Is this a budget? No. Is it a regular knife? Yes, because it's under $300. It's right at $188, $189, and if you get it at White Mountain Knives, get to 10% off. It could be even less, but it's a pretty good price. I would say for the materials, for the titanium, for the the 20 CV blade steel, and for the carbon fiber inlay, the say that 10 times quickly. Copper carbon fiber inlay, it's really nice. It seems like a pretty good price, pretty good deal. If the aesthetics speak to you, I think it's really going to be something really cool. Purpose, EDC, hard use collection piece. So for me, I would say is absolutely an EDC piece. Is it hard use? It could be. I mean, as far as a liner frame lock sort of knife can be. You know, I don't know if I wouldn't recommend it to go chopping wood and cutting logs and stuff like that. But, you know, if you're cutting mulch, fertilizer, dog food, cat food, cases of water, boxes, you know, cardboard, you know, things like that, basic generic things around the house, I think it'll be really, really fantastic. I think you would really enjoy this. I think it'd be a great, great knife. So I would recommend that. As far as hard use, you know, get yourself a fixed blade or an axe, you know, but you could use this relatively hard use for a frame lock. I think, yeah. Is it a collection piece? For some, it will be. For some, this absolutely would be a collection piece. I think it would be beautiful. I mean, it's got some beautiful aesthetics to it that makes this collection worthy, right? So to me, collection worthy, and I'm talking about, you know, in the sense of there's something about it that just really speaks to you and you want to keep in your collection and you want to, whether you use it or don't use it, you know, this could be a non-user, could be a user, you know, that definitely has that kind of, I think, aesthetics to it. So to me, yeah, I think it could be a collection piece. If the aesthetic spoke to me, I could definitely see myself doing that. So the overall design, works really well. The thumb hole works really nicely. The thumb / fuller hole, very easy to deploy, left-handed reverse flick, very easy to use the thumb hole there. Really nice access to that, works really well, and it's really easy. Oops, sorry, let me do that again. Not a lefty, but it's really easy to deploy left-handed, even for not being a lefty. I like that. The clip is a little long. I wish it was a little bit shorter. That's kind of long. It's always a chance for more to be caught, but I get it. I mean, you know, it'll definitely keep it in place. You have pretty deep carry right there, so that's pretty nice. I like that. It's not super completely hidden, but, you know, it's relatively deep carry, so that's cool. The handle, the action is great for closing, and you know the nice thing is when you drop this and it drops down, it's going to catch on that choil part area there, so you're not going to guillotine your nail or your thumb. So that's always nice for when you have a frame like a lock bar like that, and you disengage it, that it doesn't come down and chop on your finger. So you can do that. Now the detent, to get past the detent, this is where you clear the detent. So typically some detents clear all the way down here, some will clear a little bit higher, but the detent right there is clear where it'll just drop shut nicely. And so, you know, when I drop it comes down, you're well past the detent. I think with a little bit of use, you know, you break it in, put a little oil on the washers, you know, maybe even put skiffs in there. If you want to tune the lock bar, depending on you, you know, would I tune it? No, because there's no other form of deployment, right? I mean, it's not a top flipper, front flipper, so to me, that's perfectly fine. But I would maybe consider, sometimes I might tune it depending on how comfortable that lock bar to disengage is, right? So if that lock bar is not as uncomfortable to disengage, I might tune it if it doesn't compromise anything else on the knife, right? But in this case, I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air with that. But I definitely would put some oil in there, some heavyweight 85 weight nano oil there, and some 10 weight nano oil into the washers to see if that would get the action in. But, you know, as with anything, with a knife with use, it's going to break in and become really nice. So I think that would be enjoyable. So that's my thoughts on that. All right, so opening, closing, like I said, it's great. The design is great. Fidget factor, you have one thumb hole, does it pretty well. Technically a little fuller, I don't consider that bonus. I consider that part of the same system. So I'm going to give this probably, let me think. Okay, I'll give it, I want to say 4 or 5. 4.5? I'll give it a 4.5. Yeah, probably a 4. I'll give it a 4. I mean, maybe a 4.5. It's pretty good. All right, it's pretty good. I will give him that. It works really well, and it's very easy to get to and very functional. So yeah, I mean 4.5 for sure. So out of the fidgety goodness, how does it execute? This is a 95, almost 100%. I think the only reason why it's not quite 100% is, yeah, because sometimes when I'm over here, I feel like I have to hold it just a little bit higher. But even then, I don't know. It's an A, a solid A. It's a 95. I don't know if I'd give it 100. You gotta do a lot to give it 100. So in this particular case, I don't get that, like, you know, extra wow factor where I feel like it's gonna get 100. Maybe it's the way it disengages with the lock bar. It's not as quietly as chamfered as much as I would like it. It seems a little tight, especially with how well it's close to that with the bolster here. It seems a little tight. So sometimes disengaging that makes it just feel like the fidgety goodness. It loses probably a little bit on the disengagement here. I think that's probably the thing. But that's my impression, my thoughts, right? So overall, is it a recommended knife? Yeah, I think so. I like it for $188, $189. This is a pretty good knife. You get a lot of value in this. I think 20 CV blade steel, titanium handles, nicely chamfered, beautiful copper carbon fiber, a mil deep pocket carry clip, nice action with cage ceramic ball bearings. I think all that makes this knife a recommended knife for sure. Yeah. Is it something that I would probably have in my collection? Probably not. You know, it's not my aesthetic, but this is the aesthetics speak to you. I think you would really enjoy this. I don't hate this by any stretch of imagination. I don't look at it and go, ooh, that's butt ugly. I like it. It's got some unique designs to it. It's very, very cool. But it's not something that I think would push out anything else I have in my collection right now. It doesn't have that, you know, woos me in factor. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have it for you, right? Everyone has different aesthetics. There's some knives in my collection that I know people absolutely don't like, and that's absolutely fine, because every one of us, we like the knives we like, and that's okay to like those knives. You know, not everybody has to like what you like, and not everybody likes what I like, or not. You know, everybody else doesn't like what you like. So you know that's okay, and we're fine with that. But it's a nice offering. I think it's a great knife. It's something worth considering, and I think if you are looking for a good quality knife and this aesthetic speaks to you, this is absolutely going to be a banger. All right. So that's my thoughts on that. Definitely a good knife. So if you have any questions, any comments, or you have any questions about the knife, the review, or the channel, please let me know down below. I do try to engage everybody and talk to them. If you've enjoyed this and you have any ideas for future Rob's Ramblings, please let me know as well. I do appreciate talking to you guys, folks in the comments. It's one of the things I enjoy about this channel. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, entertaining, or informative, please hit that like button down below. If you've already hit that like button, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Subscribing and liking the channel really helps out the channel, me, be able to produce more content, do more things, ultimately more things for you guys. And I want to say thank you. Thank you very much for that. I also appreciate the channel members as well. Thank you guys to all of you. You really help make this channel even do more things for that. So thank you to everyone. Hey, if you've done all that, maybe consider hitting the notification button so you can be notified of future content on here as well. And also check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.